بنرجع لكم مشاهدينا، وهلا بيصيرنا يكون عم بستضيف معي لوسي داف، Public Speaking and Communication Coach, Keynote Speaker and Consultant, Founder and Owner of Talk Leaders. اليوم موضوعنا رح بيكون عن كيفية التمكن من التحدث أمام الجمهور واكتساب مهارات التواصل الشفهي. We're glad to have you with us today on Mariam TV. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Rita. Thank you.
So أول شيء رح بلش أسألها الأسئلة بالإنجليش ورح نرجع نترجم بالعربي. First of all, I would like to ask you, how can someone learn to speak with more confidence, whether in public or just in daily life? سألتها كيف بنقدر نكتسب مهارة التواصل بثقة أمام الجمهور أو بس بحياتنا اليومية.
Confidence, definitely, it's something that requires a lot of practice. There is no one tip that fits all. Confidence has something to be on a daily basis habit. So if you want to gain confidence, whether you're delivering a keynote speech, you're leading a meeting, work presentation, or you're having a conversation with someone for the first time, you need to put yourself out there. You need to take the lead and try to forget about the fear that you have inside of you. Fear is something that's very normal. We're all human. We always have this inner feeling, whether it's fear, anxiety, excitement. It doesn't matter as long as you keep it for yourself. Embrace it, embrace that feeling. And all what you have to focus on is the message that you want to deliver. So if you want to sound more confident, number one, talk about something that you are so sure about, a subject that relates to you. If you want to deliver a keynote speech on stage, make sure you're very well prepared. Because if you're very well prepared, then you won't face any distractions on stage and you won't have to worry if I'm going to forget anything, what the audience are going to think about me, how I'm going to sound, what about my body language. But if you're well prepared, your confidence automatically is going to be top notch. If you're having a conversation with someone you just met or Q&A, for example, all what I can tell you is that you need to practice. Put yourself out of your comfort zone. Don't lock yourself in. So if every time I want to speak to someone, I say, I'm not going to speak, what they're going to think, I don't look confident. It all starts within. It all starts here. Love yourself, love your appearance, have a good posture, share eye contact, have a nice smile. When you do this posture, automatically you're going to feel more confident. And the other person is not going to know if you're feeling anxious, stressed, or you're having this
They will
excitement.
even feel comfortable.
They will feel comfortable. Let them be part of your conversation. And the best tip that I can give you, talk about something that you know the most about. Have the lead. You ask the questions. So you'll be able to know what kind of conversation you're going to have.
إذا مشاهدينا، جوابا عن الثقة بالنفس، أكيد ما حدا بيخلق عنده ثقة بنفسه. بتقلنا إنه نحن لازم نشتغل على حالنا كرمال لحتى نعرف كيف نعزز هالثقة بالنفس ونكتسبها. من أهم الأشياء يلي بنقدر نكون عم نعملها كرمال حتى نشعر بهالثقة بالنفس وقت بنكون عم نحكي قدام الجمهور، هو إنه نكون نحن بنعرف الموضوع جيدا ونكون شاغلين عليه قبل ما نطلع نحكي فيه، لأنه بس بنكون عم نحكي بموضوع بنعرفه أكيد بتكون ثقتنا بنفسنا أكبر. وأكيد بالنسبة للكوميونيكيشن بأيامنا العادية، التواصل مع الأشخاص، كرمال لحتى يكون عندنا ثقة بنفسنا كمان لازم نكون قعدتنا مريحة، ولازم دايما ننقي مواضيع نكون بنعرفها وبنفهمها، لأنه هذا الشيء بيخلي لنا نعزز هالثقة ونعرف نحكي عن الموضوع أكثر. What's the difference between public speaking and communication? إذا شو هو الفرق بين التحدث أمام الجمهور والتواصل بشكل عام؟
Public speaking and communication are completely two different skills, but they complement each other. And here's the struggle that happens between CEOs and keynote speakers, because I coach both.
Okay.
So what happens, regarding CEOs, they're excellent in communication. They know how to communicate with their team, with their partners, they pitch projects, they lead meetings, and so on. Keynote speakers, they have the full confidence to be on stage, to have a very well-prepared speech, to connect with their audience, whether they have 10 people or 200 people in front of them.
Okay.
They're confident on stage. But if you, most of the time, if you ask a CEO to deliver a keynote speech on stage, he's going to freeze because it's different. It's a different approach.
What's different about it?
And vice versa. If you're asking a keynote speaker to lead a meeting, he's going to struggle with leading a team. And the reason why, because communication skill, it's all about interaction with your team, with your audience, one-on-one, Q&A, leading open-ended questions, try to give and take, active listening. So it's like how we're communicating together. This is communication. In public speaking, it's all about you have a prepared speech, you know what you're going to talk about, you write your script, you prepare at home, you practice, 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 and then you go on stage and deliver that speech. So it's kind of a performance.
Can we say it's easier?
Can we
say that it's easier?
It's not easier, no. They're completely two different things. But if you want to be able to talk like a leader and communicate like a CEO, whether you are a keynote speaker or you're an executive, it is a must to work on both skills. Because if you're delivering a keynote speech, which is the main focus, a very well prepared speech, but you don't know how to communicate with your audience, even on stage, you're going to lose this connection.
Oh.
And at the same time, if you're an executive and you're excellent in communication, if you don't know how to prepare what you want to say, if you're not good in public speaking, how are you going to pitch your project in a proper way? Because not everything is about the two-way dialogue. So there's a performance in it as well.
Exactly.
You need to focus on the public speaking pillars as well. So that's why they're completely two different skills, but you have to work on them together in order to talk like a leader and communicate like a CEO.
إذا بمختصر بالنسبة للتكلم أمام الجمهور والتواصل هن شغلتين كتير بعاد عن بعض، بيفرقوا عن بعض. أكيد وقت بنكون عم نتكلم أمام الجمهور بنقدر نكون محضرين كلمة وبنكون دارسين يمكن الموضوع يلي بنكون عم نحكي فيه وعم نقدر نقوله وعم نقدر نوصله للأشخاص يلي بيكونوا عم يسمعونا. إنما التواصل مع الأشخاص هون في بالعكس شغل يمكن أكبر، مش بس بنكون عنا المعلومات وإنما هون لازم نكتسب مهارات التواصل أكتر كرمال حتى نقدر ناخد ونعطي مع الأشخاص يلي موجودين قدامنا. مثل ما بتقلنا إنه هن شغلتين بيكملوا بعض ولكن هن مختلفين. Thirdly, I would like to know what are the most important pillars to learn if someone wants to become a strong public speaker. شو هن أهم النقاط يلي علينا اتباعها لحتى نكون بجدارة متمكنين من التحدث قدام الجمهور؟
There are 5 main pillars in public speaking.
Okay.
And I highly recommend to work on these 5 pillars, even if you're not a keynote speaker, but you are going to need these 5 pillars to be a great communicator. Here's where public speaking and communication comes along. So the 5 pillars are: the first one, structure. You need to learn how to structure what you're going to say, whether it's a speech, a meeting, a presentation, an interview, or if you're talking to someone, a casual conversation. You need to learn how to structure your ideas, keep it concise, strictly to the point, so your ideas can be clear with good purpose, good message, or good call to action. The second pillar is body language. Body language is highly important in communication or in public speaking, because if you don't know how to express your emotions and your message clearly through your body language, you will lose the connection with your audience. And body language is not just hand gestures. It's the posture, hand gestures, face expression, eye contact, even your smile, and even active listening. You need to learn how to listen. This is part of your body language. A joke aside, some ladies lately told me, well, hey, Lucy, you're starting to have wrinkles around your forehead and around your eyes. You need to start having some Botox. And then I laughed. I told them, well, that's a good sign because it shows that I'm a great speaker. And they got confused, like, what this have to do with speaking? I told them it shows the years of experience, how many times I use my expressions to tell stories, to connect. I don't just use my mouth to speak. I use my body language, my face expression. So I'm proud of these wrinkles. It shows that I know how to use my face well when I'm speaking. So body language is very important. It's the second pillar.
Number 2.
Yes. Number 3 is your voice. You need to master your vocal instrument. And without a doubt, this is the most important pillar in public speaking and in communication.
It helps a lot.
A lot. It doesn't matter if you have a good structure, good body language, you have a very nice story, you have a good charisma. If your voice is not there, everything is gone to waste.
Or weak.
Exactly. Your voice and your body language combined sets the tone and the energy of your entire speech and of your entire communication. You need to learn how to have a strong, healthy voice. This is vocal tone. You need to learn how to use vocal variety, the different notes, the pauses, the pace, slow down. And you need to learn how to put your body language with your voice to have the proper vocal energy in your speech. So the voice is the number one pillar. Pillar number 4 is your storytelling.
Okay. The way you say it.
The way you say it and your experience. You are part of what you're saying. If you put your story, your experience, your achievements, your challenges, anything that's related to you, if you share that with the person you're communicating with or in your speech, it will have a personal touch. They can relate to because probably they've experienced that. And the 5th pillar is impromptu speaking or improvising. And this one is the most challenging one, especially in corporate world, because it's all about Q&A or interviews. Like now I'm improvising. It's Q&A. So Q&A, if you learn how to master impromptu speaking, you will have no problem whatsoever in public speaking or in communication. Because if you know your subject well and you got any distraction, you can improvise. You can choose any topic. You can flip it around. If someone of the audience or your team is distracted, change the subject. You're improvising. Q&A, any question, you can handle it. So this has to be a lot about practice, about being confident. Put yourself out there. Don't block yourself in. So the most important 5 pillars to master public speaking and to improve in your communication are the structure.
لكن خلينا نرجع دغري. I'm gonna translate them directly.
Yes.
So نحن إجمالا عنا 5 نقاط لازم نكون عم نتبعهم كرمال حتى نقدر نكون عم نقوم بهالتواصل بالشكل الصحيح. أولا التنظيم، نقدر نكون منظمين أفكارنا كرمال حتى نقدر نوصل فكرتنا. ثانيا البادي لانجويج، كيف نقدر نستعمل يمكن جسدنا أو حركاتنا كرمال حتى نقدر نوصل الفكرة. ثالثا وقت اللي بنحط بالمواضيع يلي عم نحكيها اشياء لها علاقه بحياتنا الشخصيه، هيك بنكون اقرب من الشخص يلي بنكون عم نحكي معهم. رابعا نقطه كمان مهمه كثير، هي بس نقدر من دون ما نكون محضرين نقدر نطلع بافكار جديده ونقدر حسب الموضوع يلي عم نحكي فيه نقدر نلاقي الشيء يلي بيقدر يلايمه. وخامسا
your voice.
الصوت.
الصوت
يلي هو كثير مهم. كيف بنقدر can we work to improve our voice?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your voice is an instrument. That's why I call it a vocal instrument. I don't just call it a voice. Now, I do coach people to master their voice alone, separate from public speaking. This is how important it is. You can change your voice if you don't like it. You can make your voice healthy. You can make it better. You can make it deep because you want your voice to project authority, leadership, if you're a CEO, or kindness, or persuasion, or
how
humorous.
Important it is.
So your voice, once you learn how to master your vocal instrument, to control your voice, your public speaking and communication skill goes to another level.
إذا مشاهدينا النقطة الخامسة يلي كنا عم نحكي عنها هي الصوت، أهمية الصوت بالتواصل. وأكيد أنا رجعت سألتها إذا بنقدر نشتغل على موضوع الصوت، وقالت لنا أكيد بنقدر نشتغل على صوتنا لأنه هو بيقدر يرمز إذا نحن كنا بدنا نكون عاطين سلطة أو يا أما عم نتفاعل مع الشخص يلي موجود قدامنا، عم نشعر معه. الصوت كتير مهم ولازم نشتغل عليه. We go to our next question. Good communication, we all know, it's important for work and business. What skills should someone learn if they want to speak clearly, like a leader or CEO? إذا التواصل الصحيح مهم كتير بحقل العمل مثل ما كلنا بنعرف. شو أهم أشياء لازم نتعلمها كرمال لحتى نقدر نقوم بهالتواصل الصحي والسليم، إن كنا مدير، مسؤول، قائد أو صاحب لشركة.
Communication skills in the executive world has a misconception, unfortunately. A lot of people believe that if I raise my voice, if I have this aggression face,
then I'm a leader.
Then I'm a leader.
I'm a good leader.
Exactly. Or if I tell my team what to do and how to do it. This, you're acting like a boss. You're not acting like a leader or
it's
a
being
good
bossy, and it's
being
negative.
Bossy. Exactly. So if you want to learn how to lead your team in a proper way, but still show authority and good leadership, and to learn how to communicate like CEO, absolutely there are so many factors. But I'm going to share with you the essential skills that you need to keep working on. Number one, to be concise, strictly to the point. A lot of meetings tend to take 90% more than they actually do. Meetings usually supposed to be 15-20 minutes on average. Of course, there are more meetings that require more time, but on average, these daily meetings that we do at work, usually they take
much more time than needed.
minutes, 1 hour. Why? Because the person who's leading the meeting, either the manager, the supervisor, or the CEO, tend to share a lot of information that are not necessarily to take action for the team. So to learn how to communicate like a proper CEO, you need to keep your ideas concise. Straight to the point. Straight to the point, without blabbing, without using filler words, without bossing around. And the most important thing is to take your team's ideas, suggestions, compliments, and comments into consideration, because it's not all about you. It's about the teamwork.
This is also a healthy communication.
Exactly. It's part of communication. And number two, a good communicator needs to foster a two-way dialogue. If you're just there to tell your team what to do, what tasks you need to do, and boss them around, you're not going to have the result that you want. And that's why a lot of people tend to leave their job, because they don't like the environment. And it all starts with the CEO. If the CEO knows how to communicate with the manager will be able to know how to communicate with the supervisor will be able to know how to communicate with their team.
He'll be like the role model.
It's a chain. Exactly. So you need to learn how to foster a two-way dialogue and ask open-ended questions. An open-ended question, it means you ask a question where you give the chance to the other person to answer the question freely. Like how now you're asking me questions, I'm answering them freely. A closed-ended question, it means the answer is a yes or a no.
Or no.
Did you do that? Yes. How long did it take? It's going to take more. You know, it's like bossing around, yes or no. If you get the chance to have time to have open-ended questions, you're opening this communication with your team or with the person. It doesn't have to be just executives. So open-ended questions. And number three, which is very important, active listening. Active listening is one of the nonverbal communication skills. When you learn how to listen, not hear.
With the body language also.
Of course, yes. When you learn how to listen to the person who's speaking, then you have an open mind. Then you have an open mind for evaluation, for feedback, for recommendations, for sharing achievements, for sharing challenges, for sharing obstacles. So
for improvement.
For improvement, absolutely. So they come along together. So active listening, it's not like you're hearing. Now you're listening to me, you're not hearing. And the best way to know that, this is a trick that you can apply. If your manager is talking to you, or if you're talking to your manager, if you just nod once, it means they're hearing. They're not listening. The psychology behind it, you need to nod 3 times. So now I'm speaking to you.
So did I pass the test?
You passed the test. So now I'm speaking to you, and you're nodding because you're in. You're a part of the conversation.
Exactly, yeah.
If someone is talking to you and you want to show that you're listening, you nod 3 times. It shows that I'm here for you. Tell me more. I want to know more about you.
Because it's really interesting.
It's interesting.
I love the topic.
Exactly. So if you just nod yeah and you just leave, it means your manager is not listening.
It means I'm mad, or I'm bored, or I'm just like not interested in what you're saying.
Then foster the two-way dialogue. Ask that person question like, I don't feel this is interesting.
And
what are the things that we need to work on?
Yeah.
You know?
Let them answer freely.
Let them answer freely. So to communicate like a CEO, there are 3 together. Keep it concise, strictly to the point, use a very simple English language so everybody can understand, and as well, foster a two-way dialogue and active listening. If you'll be able to master these 3 skills, you'll be able to communicate like a professional CEO, and definitely you'll be a leader, not a boss.
كمان مرة رح نفيد مشاهدينا يلي ما كتير عم بيفهموا كل الاشياء اللي عم نحكيهم بالانجليزي بطريقة اكيد مختصرة. 3 طرق كرمال لحتى يقدر يكون المسؤول عم بيقوم بهالمحاولة بالتواصل مع الاشخاص بالعمل بالطريقة الصحيحة. كثير اوقات بتقلنا بنشوف المسؤول عم بيصرخ او بيكون عابس او بيكون يمكن عم بيخوف بطريقته الاشخاص اللي عم بيتواصل معهم. هذا الشيء كثير غلط ومش هيك مفروض يكون التواصل بحقل العمل. الثلاث اشياء اعطيتنا اياهم كرمال حتى نكون عم نتبعهم للتواصل الصحيح بين المسؤول والاشخاص يلي بيعملوا بنفس الشركه. اولا انه نروح دغري على الموضوع يلي نكون بدنا نحكي فيه، ما نضيع وقت ونحكي اشياء هي نحن بغنى عنها. بتقلنا انه اوقات كثير يمكن في موضوع بيكون بده ربع ساعه بياخذ معنا ساعه وما بنكون قدرنا نستنتج منه الاشياء يلي مفروض نكون عم نستنتجها منه. ثانيا وقت اللي the second point
is to foster a two-way dialogue.
the two-way dialogue وقت اللي بنكون عم نسأل وعم ناخذ الجواب، ونترك كمان مجال للاشخاص يلي عم بيعطونا جواب انه يجاوبونا بطريقتهم. اوقات هن كمان بيكونوا عم بيعطونا افكار. في اوقات اشخاص بحبوا يسالوا سؤال والشخص يكون عم بيقول لهم يا ايه يا لا. هيدا مش تواصل صحي. and the third point the active listening هو وقت اللي بيكون حدا عم نحكي معه ويكون الشخص عم بيتسمع بشكل صحيح. انا دائما بقول بالart of communication it's an art انه نكون عم نعرف نسمع للشخص يلي بيكون عم بيحكينا. وهون هيك عطيتنا قصه مهضومه. اذا بدنا نعرف اذا شخص قدامنا عن جد عم بيتفاعل مع الاشياء يلي نحن عم نحكي اياها، اذا هز براسه مره واحده يعني ما كانه عم بياخذ منا الاشياء يلي بدنا نوصل له اياها، زهقان او مش مهتم. اما الاشخاص يلي بيكونوا عم بيتسمعوا لنا مزبوط وعم بيستمتعوا يمكن او عم بيستفيدوا من الافكار يلي عم نعطيهم اياها، بهزوا 3 مرات هيك بنعرف انه هالشخص عم بيتسمع لنا مزبوط. Let's go to the next question. What's the most common mistake people make in public speaking? ما أبرز الأخطاء يلي بيقعوا فيها الناس خلال التحدث أمام الجمهور؟
Mistakes. I'm going to share more than one because they're all essential. Let's start with the first one that's very, very common, filler words. Filler words are the so like, you know, right? All of these are filler words. So we tend to use filler words when we're not very well prepared, if you have a speech to deliver, a meeting, presentation, or when we lack the confidence. So the more you use filler words, it shows that you're not so confident. And the best way to overcome that, number one, of course, to practice. Number two, don't be afraid of silence. Just pause. So every time I want to speak, I feel I want to say,
relax.
Just pause, share eye contact. You'll give time to yourself to think, to reflect. And at the same time, the person who's looking at you or speaking to you, whether their audience or a team or your friend, will have enough time to digest what you're saying. And you'll give them that anticipation. What are you going to say next? So pausing has a lot of benefits. So the first common mistake are the filler words.
Okay.
Know the filler words. Identify what filler words you're using. If you don't know that you use filler words or not, film yourself and watch yourself later and count your filler words. What filler word you use the most? If you know what filler words you're using, it would be easy to eliminate that filler word by substituting it with a pause, or you will be well prepared. The next common mistake is oversharing.
Giving too much
Giving
information.
too much. There's a rule of 3 in everything. In interior design, in art, and probably in displays, and even there's a rule of 3 in public speaking. Don't share more than 3 information in your speech. Your audience is going to forget what's rest. If you feel you want to share more, have a separate speech, have a different meeting, or you can slide it up in the Q&A, for example. But the main speech, the main structure, don't put more than 3 information. Always remember, strictly to the point, what the audience want and what the audience need. And the third common mistake is practicing in front of a mirror. Believe it or not.
Is it a mistake?
It's a mistake. Because if you're preparing a speech and you're practicing in front of a mirror, you're putting yourself in that comfort situation. All your focus is going to be about, am I memorizing my speech right? And am I saying my speech on the right time? When you go on stage or to the meeting, you're going to have a lot of distractions. Your vocal tone, vocal variety, body language, the interaction, the Q&A, the distraction. Probably you're going to have a technical issue. How are you supposed to know if you'll be able to handle all these distractions If all what you're doing at home is practicing your speech in front of a mirror, you're going to sound robotic. So what you need to do while you're practicing, focus on the 5 pillars.
Okay.
Practice your structure. Is your structure well? Number
Your
2.
voice.
Practice your body language. Here you can stand in front of a mirror. See, are you moving freely? Or film yourself. Watch yourself again.
Okay.
Number 3, practice your voice. So when you're filming yourself, this is the best way to know if your body language and your vocal instrument are right.
Okay.
Watch yourself on camera without hearing your voice. Can you feel your body language? Can you connect with the energy of what you're saying? If yes,
Can you get the message?
can you get the message? If yes, then your body language is excellent.
Okay.
Regarding your voice, put the volume up, switch the phone. Listen to your voice. Is it monotonic? Is it fast? Is it too slow? Am I using enough pauses? Is it interesting? If yes, excellent. If not, then work on it. If you're sharing a story in your speech, evaluate your story. If you have Q&A, practice Q&A. So practicing in front of a mirror, just focusing on memorizing the speech alone is not enough. It is essential to memorize your speech, but you need to work on the 5 pillars as well. So the
Okay.
common 3 mistakes.
Then using the mobile is way better than standing in front of the mirror.
Film yourself and watch yourself. Exactly. So number 3 mistakes. The filler words,
The filler words,
sharing too much information, and
and
practicing in front,
in
of,
front
the
of the
mirror.
mirror.
Yes.
اوكي لكن 3 اخطاء بيوقعوا فيها هي اول وحده الفيلر ووردز يعني بنكون عم نقول او بنجرب نحط حواشي كرمال لحتى ما نكون عم نتوقف عن الكلام. بتقلنا لا، من الافضل انه نتوقف نعمل بوز كرمال لحتى نرجع نجمع افكارنا ونكمل. الشغله الثانيه يلي بيوقعوا كمان فيها بالغلط هي بس بنعطي كثير معلومات. افضل انه نكون عم نحدد 3 معلومات نعطيها، هيك الاشخاص بيقدروا يستوعبونا بشكل اكبر. وثالث خطا بنوقع فيه هي بس بنكون عم نتمرن امام المرايه. من الافضل انه نكون نحن عم نسجل فيديو، هيك بنقدر نكون عم نتاكد انه نحن عم نتبع ال5 اشياء يلي قالت لنا اياهم كرمال لحتى نقدر نعمل تواصل ناجح. Question number 7 is what's your best advice for someone who wants to speak like a leader and inspire others. إذا بدنا تعطينا نصيحة للأشخاص يلي بيحبوا إنه يتكلموا كقادة أو يأثروا على المستمعين.
Very simple answer. Take action.
How?
Take the lead. Put yourself out there. If you feel you're not so confident, for example, content creation now is a thing. Everybody has social media. Everybody wants to go on stories, film reels. This is your first
Is it
step.
only for the talented ones, or
No,
anyone can work
no,
on
no, no.
himself and
Exactly.
be there?
It could be an exercise. So one very simple exercise I give some of my executives that I coach, especially if they want to be part of social media. Put your camera on, talk about something. Anything, any subject, what you did today.
Do you still do that?
I still do. I always go in selfie, I speak, because I feel like I have an idea I want to share. Let's go for it. Not everything has to be very well prepared. This is where you practice impromptu speaking, improvising. This is how. Take your camera, speak to the camera, choose any topic, put yourself out there. By time you start gaining the confidence, yeah, I can have a selfie, I can be on video. Another example, if you're in a meeting at work, take the lead to ask a question. You're not preparing a meeting yet. Ask a question. Be part of it. Take action, even if you're not comfortable.
Get informed.
Get informed. Get involved. Later, you start realizing, oh, I'm getting better by asking questions. Let me this time pitch a project in this meeting. Let me this time share an idea. Probably next time, I'm going to be the person leading the meeting. If you go to public speaking practices, for example, there are a lot of groups that help people to learn how to speak in public speaking and in communication. Go up on stage. Give it a try. There's nothing to lose. You need to have the motivation. If every time I tell you, you need to have a selfie, just talk to the camera. Probably you're not a phone person. Put that aside. You work. I want you next time to ask a question. You don't work. There's always a solution. You're going out with your friends. This is one of the tips actually I gave one of my clients. He told me like I'm going out with my friends. and he's struggling with his voice, and it caused him to have a little bit of lack of confidence because of a medical issue. It's been 5 years that he's not speaking well, so working on his voice to regain his voice back. And since it's affecting his confidence, I told him, you know what? Tonight you're going out with your friends. I want you to start the conversation. Open a subject that you're confident about and start asking questions. They're hanging out. And the next day he came like, you know, coach, I felt different. I was talking most of the time. My voice felt better because I'm feeling confident, and I was able to have open-ended questions, you know, so everything starts to come along. You're going out with your friends, you decide what you want to talk. So it's all about taking action. You don't need to wait for being on stage to
Like
learn.
everything else in life.
Everything is public speaking. Everything is communication. You're invited to a wedding, give a wedding toast. You have a meeting, ask a question. You're going to practice, go on stage. You want to start a channel on YouTube, film yourself. There's always a way. Find a way to take action. Step out of your comfort zone. If you're always in your comfort zone, you will never improve in your public speaking. Watching videos and reels, and this
helps.
This episode now, it's not going to be enough for you to improve in your public speaking. I'm sharing a lot of tips. Take one of them and apply them. Take action.
I'll take more. إذا مشاهدينا نصيحتها كرمال حتى نقدر نكون عم نعمل للأشخاص يلي بحبوا يعملوا تواصل بشكل صحيح هو إنه يبلشوا ينفذوا. كل شغلة بحبوا يعملوها لازم يبلشوا يشتغلوا عليها وينفذوها. مثلا إذا كنا نحن مع أصحابنا بتعطينا كمان مثل إنه بنقدر نحن نسأل كمان أسئلة هيك بنخلي الشخص يلي قدامنا يكون عم بيجاوب وهيك بنقدر كمان نكون عم نعمل تواصل معه. دايما التصرف هو يلي بخلينا نقدر نتقدم. الكومفورت زون هو شيء كتير بخلينا نكون يمكن قاعدين ناطرين مرتاحين ولكن ما بخلينا نتقدم. Lucy Duff, thank you so much for all the important and interesting information you gave us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you too. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
إذا مشاهدينا إن شاء الله تكونوا استفدتوا من كل هالمعلومات. خليكن معنا شوي تاني وبنرجع لكم.